If you're one of the many horror fans who have already devoured the latest installment of the Scream franchise and are left wanting more, then you've come to the right place. We've compiled a list of 10 bone-chilling slasher films to satisfy your thirst for blood, gore, and heart-racing suspense. This 2020 horror comedy flick directed by Christopher Landon has got everything you need to get your heart racing and your funny bone tickled.
Freeze!
Little girls shouldn't play with guns.
The story revolves around a high school student, Millie Kessler, who suddenly swaps bodies with a serial killer, the Blissfield Butcher. The film takes inspiration from classic body swap movies like Freaky Friday, but amps up the horror factor with gruesome kills, tense, suspenseful scenes, and lots of creative writing.
Millie?
Who's your favorite athlete?
Over there! Hey!
Nolan, I hate sports.
And let's not forget about the film's humor. Freaky perfectly blends horror and comedy with hilarious one-liners and clever situations that poke fun at horror movie tropes. It's a movie that will make you jump, laugh, and maybe even scream a little bit. Happy Death Day is a 2017 horror comedy film directed by Christopher Landon, who also directed the previously mentioned Freaky. What sets Happy Death Day apart is its unique blend of horror and humor. The film manages to balance tense and scary moments with hilarious comedy, making it an enjoyable ride from start to finish. The plot itself is also intriguing, as we follow the lead character's journey to figure out who the killer is and how to break the time loop. Overall, Happy Death Day is a fun and thrilling movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a clever twist on the traditional slasher film and offers something unique for horror fans who are looking for a fresh take on the genre. Halloween, the classic horror movie that started it all. Released in 1978 and directed by John Carpenter, Halloween tells the story of Michael Myers, a psychopathic killer who escapes from a mental institution and returns to his hometown to wreak havoc on Halloween night. What makes Halloween such a classic is its ability to create a sense of dread and tension throughout the film. Carpenter's use of cinematography, music, and lighting creates an atmosphere that's both eerie and unsettling. And of course, Michael Myers himself has become an iconic figure in the horror genre, with his silent and relentless pursuit of his victims leaving audiences terrified for decades. Since its release, Halloween has become a classic and has spawned numerous sequels, remakes, and spin-offs. But the original film remains a masterpiece of horror filmmaking, and its influence can be seen in countless other movies in the genre. Saw is a 2004 horror movie directed by James Wan that has become a cultural phenomenon in the horror genre. The film is full of twists and turns as we follow the characters' struggles to survive and unravel the mystery of Jigsaw's motives.
You'll have to cut yourself again. Find the path through the razor wire to the door. But hurry. At 3 o'clock, that door will lock. And then this room becomes your tomb.
Saw also features some of the most gruesome and inventive death traps ever seen on screen, which have become iconic in the horror genre. These traps push the boundaries of what's considered acceptable in mainstream cinema, and are sure to leave audiences cringing and gasping. Its complex plot, intense suspense, and stomach-churning gore make it a standout in the genre, and a classic in its own right. This 2000 horror classic will have you on the edge of your seat from start to finish, as you witness a group of high school students who cheat death, only to find that it's not so easy to outsmart the Grim Reaper. With each death scene more gruesome and inventive than the last, you'll be cringing and gasping at the clever ways in which death comes to claim its victims. And just when you think you know what's going to happen next, the movie will surprise you with a twist that will leave you breathless.
It's all part of death's sadistic design, leading to the grave.
Design. Does that mean if you figure out the design, you can cheat death?
But it's not just about the scares. Final Destination also has a relatable and engaging hero in Alex Browning, played by Devon Sawa. As he tries to save his friends from death's grip, you'll root for him every step of the way, experiencing the same fear and uncertainty he feels. The Cabin in the Woods is a 2012 horror comedy film that will take you on a wild ride unlike any other horror movie you've seen before. The movie follows 5 friends who decide to spend a weekend in a remote cabin in the woods, only to find themselves at the mercy of something far more sinister than they ever could have imagined. What sets The Cabin in the Woods apart is its clever and self-aware take on the horror genre. The movie manages to both embrace and subvert horror movie tropes, with nods to classic horror movies like Friday the 13th and Evil Dead, while also presenting a unique and original story that will keep you guessing until the very end. The characters in the movie are both relatable and hilarious, with standout performances by Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, and Fran Kranz. They're not just victims waiting to be killed. They're fully fleshed out characters with their own quirks and personalities that make them all the more endearing. Candyman is a 1992 horror movie that has become a cult classic in the genre. The movie tells the story of a graduate student named Helen, who is researching urban legends in Chicago's Cabrini Green housing project. As she delves deeper into the legend of the Candyman, a vengeful ghost with a hook for a hand, she finds herself becoming increasingly entangled in the terrifying world of the supernatural.
Helen.
Yes?
Helen.
What makes Candyman so compelling is its blend of horror, social commentary, and urban legend. The movie explores the themes of race, class, and gentrification, using the Candyman legend as a metaphor for the violence and oppression that people of color face in urban environments. The movie is both terrifying and thought-provoking, with a rich subtext that will leave you thinking long after the credits have rolled. Cry Wolf is a 2005 horror movie that will keep you guessing until the very end. Directed by Jeff Wadlow, it employs a clever use of suspense and misdirection that will constantly keep you on the edge. It's a movie that will keep you second-guessing yourself as you try to piece together the clues and figure out who's behind the terrifying messages.
Dude, it was just another joke. He probably wasn't even on the phone with her.
It was the guy that shot the girl.
Are you listening to yourself?
We wrote it. The victim's us.
The characters in Cry Wolf are also a major highlight, with standout performances by Julian Morris, Lindy Booth, and Jared Padalecki. So if you're a fan of horror movies that play with your expectations and keep you guessing, then Cry Wolf is definitely worth checking out. A Nightmare on Elm Street is a horror movie classic that has stood the test of time. What makes it so compelling is its use of surrealism and psychological horror. The movie blurs the line between dreams and reality, creating a terrifying atmosphere where anything can happen. Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, is one of the most iconic horror movie villains of all time, with his burned face, striped sweater, and razor-sharp glove becoming instantly recognizable to horror fans around the world.
Now 12 midnight, and this is station KRGR leaving the air.
The movie also has a strong thematic core, exploring the traumas and fears of adolescence in a way that resonates with audiences even today. The characters, played by a talented cast including Heather Langenkamp and Johnny Depp, are relatable and sympathetic, making their struggles with Freddy all the more impactful. Hush is a 2016 horror movie that will have you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. The movie follows a deaf writer named Maddie who lives alone in a secluded cabin in the woods. When a masked killer shows up at her doorstep, Maddie is forced to fight for her life in a deadly game of cat and mouse. What makes Hush so unique is its use of sound and silence. With Maddie being deaf, the movie is almost entirely silent at times, making every sound and movement all the more intense. The killer, played by John Gallagher Jr., is a menacing presence, with his mask and crossbow adding to the sense of dread and unease. The movie also has a strong emotional core, with Maddie being a relatable and sympathetic character. Actress Kate Siegel, who also co-wrote the movie with Flanagan, delivers a powerful performance, conveying both Maddie's vulnerability and her determination to survive. These 10 movies are sure to satisfy your craving for more slasher films. From classic horror movie franchises like Halloween and A Nightmare on Elm Street to newer entries like Hush and Ready or Not, there's something for everyone on this list. So why not give one or all of these movies a try and see which ones become your new favorites? Who knows, you may just find yourself screaming for more.